Hello, and welcome back to Coin Lady channel. I mean every single major media outlet when I say that this is one of the most heavily promoted issues. This is a conflict. Now, usually, when there's a lot of talk and pressure about war, people are very interested in what's going on behind the scenes. Simply put, if you had ever delved into the past to discover the usual causes of war and its outbreaks, you would have come to the same conclusion. Reason being, the US currency is facing competition. My meaning is unclear. I mean, countries that are actively working to undermine the US dollar's position as the world's preeminent currency. This is the reality that we are seeing at the moment. Accelerated usage of local currencies at summit will not have dollarization, which is one of the main points I have been focusing on this channel. Leaders will consider the enlargement of the bloc during the Johannesburg summit, according to the ambassador. This happened in August, by the way. The intriguing part is that we began to see some really large brick and mortar movements just a few months thereafter. As I said in August, not enough people are seeing that the long-term ramifications of BRICS actions are becoming apparent as we start to see a lot of these updates. However, a seismic change is taking place in terms of authority and influence. The mainstream media would have you follow meaningless news stories instead of highlighting the BRICS and its actions. The mainstream media, in particular, promotes the concept of war. They are manipulating the situation to make it seem like we must go to war. I saw a fantastic movie put out by Black Swan capitalists, and it helped me to realize why the BRICS alliance's currency war, which is both illegal and unconstitutional, is essential, as it determines the future of the financial system and XRP in particular. If you fail to address the underlying mechanics of the change, you are only pretending to discuss money. The increasing BRICS now store $45 trillion, and we have them all at once. And riches when Saudi Arabia joined the BRICS. Considering it is now more powerful than the G7 collective, this was a major one. And when we consider this in context, I really doubt that the mainstream media will ever cover anything noteworthy. The petrodollar contract is not likely to come up in their conversation, in my opinion. At this point in time, when we examine the US dollar, I don't believe they will discuss how the reserve currency status is unchanged, but that never before in history has that title been eroded at such a rate. Looking at the usual pattern for reserve currency also leads me to believe that a new one is long needed. Is a new reserve currency likely to be introduced by the BRICS? Alternately, are we going to radically alter the current state of affairs by adopting an uncontrolled decentralized reserve currency? The reason for this is that central banks and their officials have been buying up huge quantities of gold in relation to the concept of multiple reserve currencies. You may be surprised to learn that the BRICS have also been discussing the possibility of a gold-backed currency. And then there's the moment when you look back and see that this Bitcoin CBDC is about to undermine the dollar's supremacy. I should mention that this is for Morgan Stanley. Watching the trajectory of events is quite fascinating. Again, everyone is free to speculate as to what they think will happen here and what they think this place is like. Ultimately, however, while the BRICS grows swiftly and poses a threat to the US currency, these countries are also abandoning the US dollar as a medium of exchange. Because the United States has long used the dollar as a weapon in its currency wars, these countries have had enough of the dollar and no longer will they rely on it. Bring it all together with Bitcoin CBDCs and consistent coin acceptance in 2022. Cryptocurrency had a rough year in 2022, as any viewer who has been following the channel since then is likely well aware. Stable coins were widely used in 2018, with $7.5 trillion passing through them. This was the amount of volume that stable coins were pushed in 2022. By myself, I want you to know that this is not a market crash. This is superfluous. Only 22 days remain till the market enters a bear market. Consequently, consider the amount of money that is being or will be moved via stable coins this year. My prediction is that the dollar's value will continue to decline as we examine its dominance in the market. I believe it will happen. The question is, will it happen overnight? Will the dollar sink overnight? Maybe not. However, when taken as a whole, these factors are severely straining the dollar's role as a reserve currency. However, it is also coercive. And those forces of nature were going to bring about a new monetary system that included CBDCs, or currencies, backed by gold. This one is for all the people who suddenly felt afraid because, well, you know how much people despise CBDCs. I feel that CBDCs are becoming so popular that everyone is afraid of them, which is something I've said before. In my opinion, the CBDCs will remain in the hands of central banks and will not be accessible to the retail sector. Keep in mind that 10% of the world's currency is held by central banks, and that these same banks will hold CBDC that is backed by gold. However, stable coins will be used by the public in the retail sector. The United States dollar currency, USDC, is already a stable currency in theory. I see. Circle has a long history of collaboration with USDC in the US. USDC is, as far as I can tell, a stable currency that is mostly controlled by the US. Looking at the big picture, it's very obvious what's going to happen, isn't it? We will issue CBDCs that are collateralized by gold. And there will be more than one reserve currency. We won't have one rolling all of them, trust me when I say that. No, we'll see a situation where each country's central bank has its own central bank DC. There must be a bridge currency that links all of these things together. And that's why I think XRP is in a great position for this right now. Will there be no other cryptocurrency? Missing some details. There are a lot of fantastic options that we could investigate as well. Among the major ones, I would put Q and T should be investigated by everyone, in my opinion. The importance, however, is immediately apparent. A mere 4 days ago, on February 4th, we saw the BRICS 20 countries abandon the US currency in favor of Russia's payment system. The infrastructure is changing, and this has been the story for a long time. There has been a general decline in SWIFT recently, coinciding with the belief that the dollar has died. If you want a story that's simple to latch onto and depend on, I recommend that one. However, I do not believe the situation is as cut and dried as the US dollar's demise or decline. A rushed transition to this new financial system is, in my opinion, what we are really seeing. You can see the strain on this situation since Iraq banned local banks from US currency transactions as recently as February 4th. This was on January 30th, just as we received this. This year, new BRICS member Iran called for digital money systems, and when we look around, it seems like everything is moving toward digital. Does this ring a bell? When asked about the possibility of a new financial system, my first and foremost statement was that it would take time. A few years will pass before anything happens. And you know what? A very long time has passed. However, if you rewind to 2010, you'll see that the BRICS were focusing on Russia's actions. It happened soon after 2008. You mean the collapse? Russia was making massive purchases of gold. From around 2010 until the present day, many of the BRICS countries have been purchasing and amassing vast quantities of gold. This has been operational for some time. You may also get data from before 2010. Furthermore, see the obstacles that were placed in the way of the US dollar. A lot of changes have happened throughout the years that most people don't even notice. It will go unreported and unmentioned by the mainstream media. However, the financial system is undergoing a major transformation as a result of all of this. Digital banking, digital payments, and digital currencies are the backbone of it all. And I am convinced that ultimately, everything is being done to speed it up. While the BRICS nations put pressure on CBDCs, Bitcoin, and other cryptocurrencies, it is clear that a lot has been happening in this space recently. Simultaneously, BRICS Russia is creating a new payment system that does not rely on the US currency. It was the 29th of January. We received these digital money systems the next day. 2 days later, 20 countries began using the Russian payment system, and 8 Iraqi banks banned US currency transactions. In addition, the BRICS countries already own a combined $45 trillion in assets. Is it only a coincidence, in your opinion? Not much is happening at the moment. That is the end of the video. Please like and subscribe my channel. See you later, bye.